And good morning, ladies and gentlemen, to this very, very special episode today. Yes, well, it is the 1st of July, well, starting of a new financial year. And of course, today we would like to wish someone a very, very happy birthday. Well, that is none other than Tanvi. So, especially on her birthday, she is here presenting the show. So let's wish her all the very best for her birthday.
बार बार दिन ये आए, बार बार दिल ये गाए, बार बार दिन ये आए, बार बार दिल ये गाए, तू जिए हजारों साल, ये मेरी है आरज़ू. Happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, once again, welcome to this very special segment of travel updates. You must be wondering, under these circumstances, where can we travel? So there's still a lot that we can do, what we can do and what we can't do. We will disclose in this segment. And once again, welcome to the show, Tanvi. And before I do that, let's wish you a very happy birthday. So, here you are presenting a show on your birthday.
Thank you so much, Umesh, and thank you everyone. It's really a blessing that I'm actually alive today. Otherwise, many people don't have birthdays as well. So thank you so much for all the blessings. And here I am on my birthday with you all.
And it is wonderful to have you once again on the show. There's a lot that we have to talk about. And as I mentioned before in the intro, that people might be wondering, what can they talk about traveling in a time like this? But there's lots that people need to know. There are people who need to travel, people who need to get to places. So what can you do? What can't you do? All those things we will talk about in this show. So this is the 37th episode. And, once again, congratulations on your birthday, number one. Number two, 37. So does that ring a bell?
Yeah, it is. Thank you so much. So guys, before we go ahead, I would also inform you all that any information we discuss today is all general information only, as you know that situation keep changing and it can change anytime as well, and individual circumstances can be different as well. So please keep yourself updated.
And of course, that is a very legitimate disclosure there, because circumstances change and rules change. As we know, the snap lockdown, which was a snap lockdown, though there were writings on the wall when the first mask thing came out. Some of the reporters present there were asking that, is this a precursor to the lockdown? And here we are in the snap lockdown. So something could happen at any time. So moving on with the show, because we got lots to talk about. So who can fly from Australia to India at this point in time? Because, this is a burning question.
Okay, so once again, it's same like last week, guys. So Indian citizen on tourist visa or temporary visa can fly, just take the flight and leave. Australian citizen and PR can still leave, but you need exemption. And there are main three categories like I mentioned last week. So if there is someone sick in family, especially parents, if there is unfortunate death in family, or if you're going to take your minors, you can still apply for an exemption. These days, exemption seems taking a bit longer than usual. So earlier, the exemption turnaround was around 3 days. But recently, in the last whole week, I have seen people are still waiting for more than 10 days, and it's a little bit slowed down. So if it's important for you to go, please don't wait for it. Just apply your exemption because it may take time. And also would recommend you guys not to book your flight until you get exemption, because there are quite a few people who keep getting rejections. So if you book the flight, you have to renew, change it. That can be problematic. So, but flights are going as usual. So Qatar and Emirates are going from major cities in Australia to India, and at least a couple of flights a week. And we'll be discussing in each city how the flights are. Amazing.
You mentioned that we will go through city by city. So looking at that, let's begin with Brisbane. So what are the flight options from Brisbane at this point in time?
So from Brisbane, we have at least 2 to 3 flights a week, considering we have Emirates and Qatar both. And as I always mentioned last couple of weeks, I want to tell you again the difference in Emirates and Qatar. So if you're going just one way, best to take Emirates because they are giving you hotel lounge options. And if you want to take the return flight, especially coming 18 September after, you can take Qatar flights because that will save you money. But yes, both are best in their own ways, depending on your circumstances. So from Brisbane, we have flight Emirates flights are 3rd of July, 6th of July, 8th and 10th of July, and Qatar are 3rd, 7th, 19th and 14th of July. So pretty much 3 to 4 flights we have per week from Brisbane without any issues at this stage.
So there you are, ladies and gentlemen, update with the flights from Brisbane. Well, let's move on to Sydney and see what flight options are available at this point in time from Sydney.
So 2 flights of Emirates going from Sydney, especially every Tuesdays are very reliable. So 1st July, 3rd of July, 6th and 8th of July, and Qatar flights we have 1st July, 3rd, 5th and 8th of July.
Okay, so there you are, the 2 airlines. And moving on to Melbourne, what are the options from there?
So from Melbourne, Emirates flights are going every Wednesdays and Saturdays, just to remind you. And not only this week, they are there for the rest of the year as well. But we do recommend to book for at least maximum 1 or 2 months in advance, not more than that. So Emirates flights are 3rd of July, 7th, 9th, and 14th. And Qatar flights are 2nd, 5th, 7th, and 10th of July. Want to inform you guys one more thing, that Qatar flights are going, but not really to all the destinations from Melbourne. So let's say I was checking for other client for Hyderabad, so it was not coming up. But mainly for Delhi, for Ahmedabad, for Amritsar, and Bangalore, there are a few options coming. But yes, if Qatar is not there, then Emirates option are there to most of the cities.
So either of the 2 options are available there. Well, right, moving on, let's go to Adelaide, and what are the options from there?
So from Adelaide, there is no one-stop flight as such. There are 2 stops flights. And I have seen 1 flight got cancelled as well last week. So then if you think that, it's really important for you go and you can't delay it, then I would recommend to just see that particular flight, or maybe go to Adelaide day before, especially to Melbourne, not via Sydney at this stage. But I have Emirates flight and Qatar both, so which are flying every couple of days. So there is no problem. Just consider whether you can fly to Melbourne day before or not.
Okay, so that is all the flights from there. We're right now moving on to the other part of the land. We're going to Western Australia. So what are the flight details for Perth?
So from Perth, we have one-stop flights. That's not a problem. Couple of flights a week, as usual. So 4th of July, 6th, 8th, and 11th is Emirates flights, and 2nd, 7th, 9th, and 11th is Qatar flights.
Sorry about that. Right now, people have been all talking about, any updates on flights for, from India to Australia.
India to Australia, guys, the last whole week was, a little bit slow like it used to be. Seems the demand is very high and airlines got a bit less options. And I think there was a meeting also a couple of days ago where government is thinking to reduce a bit of caps as well, but please don't worry and don't get panic about that, because these caps were there before as well, and there may be minor reductions, but still flights are going without any issues, though they are a little bit less, but there will be more flights in next week or after. So as usual, Japan Airlines flight is every Wednesdays, Delhi to Sydney. Qatar Airways is going to majority of cities, so going to Brisbane, Adelaide, Melbourne and Sydney, and from all main cities in India, except Amritsar and Ahmedabad a little bit slow. Majority of flights are going from Delhi, Bombay, Bangalore or Hyderabad. Kolkata is a little bit less as well. So I would really recommend you guys to really not think of point-to-point flight. For example, if you're flying from Ahmedabad to Sydney, don't just think that, you need flight from Ahmedabad only to Sydney only. I think take any flight, from any port in India to any port in Australia. That will increase your chances to come here faster, because once you come here, you just have to do a 14 days quarantine on your first point of arrival, and then you are good to go after 2 weeks, and that will increase your chances to come to Australia. So I think that's very, very important. Emirates flight-wise, we discussed last week that they were about to start on 7th of July, but seems there is a further delay on that. As per the written notification, it's not being cleared yet, but they might start 21st of July or even after. So it's not recommended to book them at this stage. And charters are also there in market. So please reconsider charters as well. If you think you might change the flight or you might be positive, which I hope you don't. But just remember, charter means if you are positive or if you're unable to go, they are 100% non-refundable and non-changeable. While in case of air bubble flights, Qatar, Japan Airlines, they are changeable and refundable as well. So that's a major difference. Once you come here, you have to definitely do, mandatory quarantine. Many people ask about this question, which I want to clear here, that, we are coming with a small minor. Can we go home, take our child home? No, you can't. But if you, any of your parents are bringing child from India or any of the friends bringing child here, and, both the parents are in Australia, you can definitely apply to stay in quarantine with your child. That is possible. But please check with authorities for that before they come here. That's very, very important. And we also don't know where you're going to get quarantined. So once you land in Australia, there are the officers who take you to the designated quarantine services, and there you can speak to them about the payment. When you have to do the payment, you might request for the installment options as well, or when you want to pay, and there are some debate options as well. But yes, we don't know when the quarantine going to be, where the quarantine going to be, sorry. And you can definitely request whatever problems you might have, discuss with them. They are very accommodating and they are very, very helpful. I also want to go through with you the documents required, because this is a question being asked pretty much every single day. People are getting confused. Even though even I myself send emails, WhatsApp messages, step-by-step instructions, still there are many people confused. So first of all, you need the passport. If you are flying on new passport, remember you need to go with the old passport as well. Number 2 of visa copies. If you are flying on any particular visa, especially those who are tourists in India or those who are flying on temporary visas and they are flying with exemptions. So please remember, you need the visa and exemption. Both are very, very important. Third is the RT-PCR. Please remember, RT-PCR is 48 hours before departure. It is very, very important. If your flight is leaving 3 a.m. in the morning, which most of the Qatar flights are, so the time starts from your, the sample you have given and the time your flight departure is. So don't get confused with that. Majority of main airports such as Delhi, Bangalore, Mumbai, and Hyderabad, they have the COVID testing facility as well, where they're giving 6 to 8 hours before departure in case you are not able to get, but it is important. Number 4 is a Qatar Airways consent form. You need 2 copies of that and make sure you fill it before you go. In case you forget it, airlines got it, but it's good to fill it and leave beforehand. Number 5 is the Australian travel declaration. Remember, airlines won't let you check in until you have done Australian travel declaration. Doesn't matter which flight you are going through. Also remember, Australian travel declaration seems showing some errors. Don't try to fill in on your phone. Try with your laptop, and also try different explorers. And in case it doesn't let you go with the same flight number, there's an option to do it like go do it still anyway. There's an option do it anyway. You can do that as well. If it doesn't let you do at all, but without this, they won't let you go. And please don't leave it till very last minute. There are some instances happened last week as well where people had lots of issues with that. So please do that. And number 6 is state registration pass. So as I mentioned before, we have for Western Australia G2G pass, and for Queensland also it's mandatory. And on the website, I can send you link as well. And these are the main forms which you need to fill if you're coming from India to Australia.
Again, a lot of information there, and the first point you made about all the documents, that make sure that you got your passport, of course. Well, sometimes these things sound like very normal things, but people do forget those kind of things as well. So I think it's very, very important that people pay attention to all the things that is normally required. So now that we know about those things, and at this point in time when most of the country seems to be in lockdown, so what are the exciting things that can be done locally or nationally?
Nationally, guys, as you know, as Umesh, you also mentioned that there is a lockdown pretty much all the places. I would say stay home and plan further, and you might go a little bit here and there if you are not in lockdown or once the lockdown opens. I would say just be close to your place so you know you're not disappointed. Like I was planning to go somewhere on my birthday, and all of a sudden something happened. So I wouldn't go it. So I would say just try and plan something close to the date and around you, so you know you are not sad later on. But yes, there are some good news and few updates as well nationally, which I'm going to share with you. So first, the Tasmania visitor span grew close to 30% for the March quarter this year, when compared to the same period pre-pandemic last year, despite the ongoing challenges posed by the COVID-19. That I would say really excellent news and a very good motivation for us that you know still people are moving, still things are going, and hopefully if everything opens in Queensland, I'll be there to Tasmania soon too. Next, from Virgin Australia. So Virgin Australia scales its back. So Virgin Australia has confirmed the cancellation of larger number of flights over the next 3 weeks in response to the Greater Sydney lockdown. In all the cases, as state border tighten, they said they will assist all the customers who may need to travel in reaching their final destination. But at this stage, majority of flights are being cancelled in response to the Greater Sydney outbreak. Next is from Sheraton. So Sheraton Perth has got some nice deal that can be a good news for those who are planning to Perth or those who are in Perth. So 4 Points by Sheraton Perth has launched a series of travel packages designed for the families. Offers include accommodation bundle with experiences like mini golf at the Holy Mole and the family cinema tickets. The hotel also introduced a Rise and Shine early bird deal, offering a 2-night prizes, Australian breakfast, barista coffee for 2 people every day. And the late checkout as well. You can check out around 1 p.m. and the prices start around $300. That's really quite exciting. So yes, you might plan, and there are some exciting offers in the market which you can think of. Next is from Melbourne. So Melbourne Airport has moved to eliminate the single-use plastics by the end of 2021. And I think it's really a great initiative and best for for us. The decision will see all the front of the house hospitality venues and lounges remove single-use plastics in exchange of recycled materials like bamboo across items such as plates and cutleries. So when you fly in future to Melbourne Airport, you might see that things are completely changed. And I would encourage all other airports and everyone out there to really use the recycling options, and it's good for us all. So they are just the main bits and pieces information and nationwide in Australia. Please be safe and consider your travel plans at least for this week, and I'll update you next week if there is anything else comes up.
Yes,
Please.
and that's a very sound advice that if you can, please stay put. So that is, it is a very, very good advice, because that's the best you can do at this point in time. But if you are looking at some options, those are the options. That Sheraton Perth deal sounds pretty good. Yes, that does. Well, right now, if you were to go overseas or internationally, what's happening on the international scene? Anything exciting?
There are a few exciting things. There are some upgrades. There are some enhancements and offers. But yes, of course, our borders are closed. We can't go, but definitely we can plan and kind of be motivated and inspired that whatever is happening around. So first of all, definitely not a very good news. That's the New Zealand bubble, which we generally talk about every single week. So New Zealand government has paused the trust and assessment bubble, as you already know, for most of the states. A reduced number of Air New Zealand flights will still continue to operate to Australia. So the travelers holidaying in New Zealand can return home. Air New Zealand has also revealed the cancellation of services to New Zealand will delay inaugural flights between Auckland and Cairns and Auckland to Sunshine Coast, services which were due to launch this week, like we have discussed to you before as well. So this time they have to pause those flights as well. To be eligible to fly, travelers must not be in New South Wales, Queensland, Northern Territory and Western Australia from 22nd June onwards. those times align with when pauses came into the effect and to most of the Australian states. I have checking the COVID-19 response ministers update this morning as well. That was from Honorable Chris Hipkins. He said we'll continue to be in regular contact with participating in the daily meetings with all the counterparts in Australia and closely monitoring the situation. As the minister said, there is a multiple outbreak across a number of states, but in several jurisdictions, in particular ACT, South Australia, Tasmania, there is no cases, but Victoria is still managing some cases from their outbreak. But the recent cases, they have been identifying and isolating. So at this stage, we want to recommend, even though you get the option to fly to New Zealand, it's a good idea not to fly to New Zealand as well. Though it's paused, but even in the, I would say, next couple of weeks, it's best to just stay home and see how the situation going. Because if they open it and you consider to go, then they might pause it again, because situation is really not that great in Australia, as you know. But yes, we all have to behave really responsibly and use all the masks and make sure that this corona goes and everything opens back again. But yes, at this stage, not advisable to fly anywhere. So Air New Zealand also got another news, that's a cargo route. So Air New Zealand has been awarded the rights to operate cargo between Melbourne and Los Angeles as a part of Australian government international flight assistance mechanism program. The carrier will operate one flight weekly until 31st of October. In addition to Brisbane, Los Angeles cargo operations, Air New Zealand has been flying since August last year under the same scheme. Next update is from Etihad. So Etihad Airways has scheduled flight from Abu Dhabi to Vienna with a new route to launch on 18th of July using a Boeing 787-10. Service will initially operate 2 flights weekly and they're going to start just in a couple of weeks. Next update is from Garuda Indonesia. So Garuda Indonesia has suspended flights between Perth and Bali from July as they battle the Indonesian flag carrier Graves ongoing financial issues. The decision marks the first time in more than 2 decades the airlines has not flown to Western Australia. With Garuda now only operating one route into Australia, and that's to Sydney. So please, like whenever we used to talk before, we used to think that Garuda going to only Perth. But remember, from now on, they'll be going to Sydney. Next is from Emirates. So Emirates in-flight entertainment will feature now the live coverage of rescheduled 2020 Olympics Games in Tokyo, as well as they have got the games of UEFA Euro 2020 football tournaments as well. And Emirates has also added around 100 new movies each month this year, along with trending HBO shows. So guys, if you're flying in Emirates, don't forget that you can see all those previous coverages of Olympic Games and football tournaments and also amazing new movies. So really good time for you to fly with Emirates. Next is from Singapore Airlines. It's been a while since we spoke to you guys about Singapore Airlines, and this time when it comes up, and I'm like, okay, I should tell you guys how the Singapore Airlines going and whether they have update. This update is really not that good, but yes, still it's good to share. The Singapore Airlines has temporarily closed the phone support of Sydney-based sales operations and groups teams due to the city's lockdown. The airlines will continue to service its trade partners via email and will reopen phone support as soon as the situation is lifted or it gets better. But if the phone line doesn't work, please don't worry about that. If you have applied for refunds and they are in process, it won't go anywhere because they are really reliable airlines. So don't please think that something going wrong. It's just not working due to the lockdown and other issues they have at the back end. Next is from Qatar Airways. So Qatar Airways has repeated its new business class suite aboard its Boeing 787-9 Dreamliner aircraft, which took off Doha to Milan for the first time on Friday, and it was really exciting news, and it's exciting everywhere, especially in Milan when they saw this aircraft came. Next is the Qatar also expands US, like we mentioned to you a couple of weeks back. So Qatar Airways American network has expanded to more than 100 weekly flights across its 12 American gateways, with 4 destinations offering a double daily service. New York to the New York City, LA, Chicago, Washington will all have 2 flights a day. And also there are some places where they can be flown 12 times a week as well. So there are quite a few flights of Qatar all around America, which you can see. And in future, definitely we'll have a lot more connections. And for me, it's kind of dream that, when I go, I can just do a world tour with Qatar. By the looks of it. Next is from Indonesia. So Indonesia to launch a new airlines basically. So Indonesian government has reported awarded an operational license to a new startup carrier which will target millennial travelers. The new Super Air Jet Airlines now has fulfilled all its technical and safety requirements to enter the commercial market. A spokesman of the Indonesian Transport Ministry said, according to the carrier has three A320-200 and its fleet configured to seat 180 economy with no details regarding those routes as yet. But yes, they are coming very, very soon. Next is the Thai island. So the government of Thailand has confirmed the popular tourist islands of Koh Sumai and Koh Tao. Sorry, I'm not able to pronounce this name properly, but yeah, that's how they call. Koh Tao will reopen to vaccinated tourists from 15th of July onwards. The travelers will be restricted to the city routes and be prepared to spend their first 3 days in a government-approved hotels. Remember, it's just 3 days. And meanwhile, from 1st of July, which means from today, the vaccinated travelers will be free to enter Phuket without quarantine, but will be required to remain on the island for at least 14 days before traveling anywhere else in the country. So guys, this will be really amazing once it's all opens, and those who are in Thailand, you can go to these amazing islands and, just quarantine for 3 days, which is not bad. And then, 14 days just around the Phuket as well. Phuket is really, really amazing place. I can still, kind of see that in my dreams. And I'm sure, by the time we are all good to fly, there'll be a lot more, offers and a lot more better situation up there. I saw, guys, one more thing that I want to share with you. There was, kind of valuation for the hotels around the world. And I saw that Hilton really tops it. So Hilton tops value is the main tag. So Hilton is the world most valuable hotel brand in 2021 with a value of around US $7.6 billion globally, according to the valuation consultancy Brand Finance. So when I saw that, I didn't love their properties, but when I saw that, I thought I should share with you guys that they are the world most valuable hotel and you must stay over there. So these are the main updates internationally.
Well, there's a lot of things that you have discussed there on the international scene. Well, I'll let you on a secret that I'm fallen behind on my updates of the movies, because the only time I used to watch movies was on long distance flights. So I haven't been flying, so I don't know what's playing. So I don't watch movies at home. Anyway, but the Indonesia granting license to another new airline in times like this, that's quite a bold step. But the things might have been pre-planned. I mean, of course, no one launches an airline just like that. And of course, that the Thai government coming up with that offer to be on that island for 3 days, that sounds pretty good. Right. Okay. So, considering all this, and if people are traveling at this time, what are the tips for them? What are the pointers that you would like to share with us?
First of all, guys, I would say please check all the latest rules and regulations. That's really important. Sometimes we just take things for granted. Whatever other people say, we think, okay, that's right, we don't have to check it. Please remember, it's very, very important. Whenever you are planning to fly or go anywhere, it's very important that you check the latest rules and regulations of that state or the country. Please, if you are especially in India and planning to come from India to Australia, please like those Facebook groups, Australians Stuck in India, and Facebook groups as well, so that you get all the up-to-date information. We are trying to cover everything here. Please share this with you with everyone. And like those pages as well, so you have up-to-date information every single day. And about the COVID test, as I mentioned in previously as well, please don't get confused when you have to do a test. Don't calculate that it has to be from the time you reach India and you calculate that way. Whenever you are in doubt or you think something is not right, just call your agent, or you can call us as well. It doesn't matter you booked with us or not. We are there to help you. I will guide you. I have so many checklists going from Australia to India, India to Australia, and even you're flying with infant, what you should carry, what documents you should carry for what airlines. I have all these little checklists which I can send it to you. But please don't get confused or miss your flight just because of a very this little thing. Other thing I would say, if you are planning to book a flight from India, please be very careful. Don't book those cheap flights because there are scams and things happening which I get to hear every couple of days. If you see that something is really very, very cheap, don't start with that. Please always do your investigation before you book it. And also remember, when you are flying with Emirates, they need 2 copies of self-reporting. But when you're flying with Qatar, they want 4 copies of that. That's also a very important point which I came across. And they really need it. Otherwise, they won't let you go, or they'll ask you to print it, or they'll give you the form to print it. And last minute, it's really a lot of hassle. Also, whenever you're flying, please make sure you have some cash with you. I have again seen there are a lot of people who had issues and they had to make a call, and there was someone who was stopped to do a COVID test again and he didn't have any cash. So I would really highly recommend you all, if you are flying from Australia to India especially, or India to Australia, please keep some cash with you. Let's say around 100 Australian dollars, around 5,000 Indian rupees is good to carry with you, or at least carry some card or something, so if there is anything last minute, you can sort all that out. If you have not, you couldn't see the flights you were planning to fly now or in future, you can send off expression of interest as well, which we can send it off to airlines so they know that there is an incoming flow on that particular sector. As I said before, if you have any question or you want us to add anything in this particular episode, or our travel updates, we are happy to add those questions. If you like this episode, please share with your family and friends. It can be very, very helpful for them. We have already 36 more episodes from the last 36 weeks, which you can find on Still Indian Radio, Chantis Media, Brisbane Indian Times, Australian Indian Radio, social media channels. And please like us, subscribe us, share with your friends. It's very, very important. And please be very positive, not corona positive, but stay positive in mind, and share all positive news only, because sometimes this negative news, affects people so much that, they are not able to fly or, take the next step. And be safe wherever you are. And as I said, we are here with you. You can call us on our hotline, which is 040-440-3264. You can see our landlines also splash on the screen. We are there with you, and you can find me on Facebook as well. I'm most of the time there to answer any of your questions. And we have got a WhatsApp group as well, where I keep sharing, lots of updates every single day. And yes, if you have more questions, feel free to message us, and stay safe. Thank you very much. Amazing.
And thank you very much. This is a very special episode for you, everybody. Especially on her birthday, Tanvi is doing this show and sharing all that very, valuable information. And I'm glad that you mentioned about, the case that, take some Australian dollars and Indian rupees as well. So, because the conversion could be a trouble as well. So it's best to have both. You never know where you might need that. I think that's a very, very valuable tip as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's been the update during this lockdown of what you can do and what you can't do. There's lots that you can do, and there's lots of information that's been shared with you today. So once again, Tanvi, thank you so much for all that valuable information, and wishing you a very happy birthday.
Thank you so much, Meji. Thank you, everyone. Stay safe, stay healthy, and party hard just at home because we're in lockdown. Everything will be great. Don't worry. We'll see you next week again. Thank you so much. Jai Bharat, Jai Hind.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.